Today I wanted to share with you this charcoal portrait drawing that I did for my students over at the Fun Fab Drawing Club. And if this is the first visit to your channel, welcome. My name is Campbell and I'm a mixed media artist, but I love to teach drawing as well as mixed media because I think it just gives a good background, kind of no matter what direction you want to take your art in, there's something here for everyone. So what is so unique to charcoal that I feel like is different from every other medium is that it's really, to me, feels much more like sculpting. It's sort of like, you know, like when you work with clay, and I'm a terrible 3D artist, but when you're working with clay, you're in there and you're molding and your hands are dirty and you're really creating from this 2D material, you know, something that really is three-dimensional and 3D. And I feel like charcoal is exactly the same way. It's the same feeling. You get in there, your hands are dirty. I do most of my blending with my fingers and not with a blending stick. And you really get that feeling of becoming one with your subject. In this case, it's portraits. I like to draw faces in portraits more than anything else. And you're really carving into the paper with this very three-dimensional medium, just the shadows and the depth. And I really feel really in tune with my portraits when I'm creating in charcoal. I don't have this experience with any other medium, and I really suggest you try it just one time because it's such a unique experience. It really is like finger painting. It's very akin to, you know, being in kindergarten and having your finger paints out and really being one with your subject. I really enjoy teaching charcoal, and it's so funny because this is actually my very first real-time tutorial teaching this, but it's very timely with the release of my new book, How to Draw and Find Your Style, because it's all about values. And I love working with charcoal specifically because you're only creating and recreating the values that you see in your photograph or in your reference. So stripping it of color, staring at this black and white photo, and really not even thinking of your subject as the subject. So in this case, as a portrait, my brain is not even thinking of this as a face. I have to sit there and I really am zeroing in on just the values and the shapes that I'm looking at. So the eyes don't become eyes anymore. They're just a complex series of shades of gray and black and white. So you have the proportions that you have to first block in, and that's why I use this charcoal-filled sock to just get the ball rolling and to just get an idea of the overall shape. If you go back to the beginning of the video, you can see that. And then you start sculpting. With an eraser, you can carve out the proportion of the size of the oval of the head to get started. And then very slowly, looking at your reference, and I have a whole chapter on highlights and shadows in my new book that talks about, and I literally do this page by page, going from lightest to darkest, and systematically trying to recreate those values that you're looking at in your reference photo and interpreting them and then recreating them on your own piece of paper. It's almost like data entry where you're just almost like in a weird engineering kind of way, you're recording the values that you see. So you're recording the black and you have to really see, like, is this true black? And I would say yes, like her hair buns and the side of her face in the photograph and the black and white reference are true black. So luckily the charcoal gives you that true black like very few other materials. And I talk about the value scale ad nauseum in my new book as well. And making sure if you're working with graphite to also make sure you have a black pencil handy, because without the true black, you're not going to capture the whole value scale and the dimension that comes with successful portrait and face drawings comes from really utilizing the entire value scale. And I know I sound like a broken record, but that's the truth of it. So systematically going through the face. So this nose is like the perfect example because it On the photo, if you're staring at this nose, it doesn't even look like a nose, which is good. In one hand, it's very scary because you're saying, well, that doesn't even look anything like a nose. How the heck am I going to draw that? And what you really need to do is silence your brain, go in with your laser sharp observational skills, and just simply try to recreate the shapes and the shading. And that is it. So where is it on this weird object in the middle of this weird oval? Is it super, super dark? And where does that fade to gray? And where does the gray fade out to have like a white highlight, maybe at the tip of the nose? It's so fascinating when you finally grasp that you're not even drawing a face when you're drawing a face, but in fact, you're just recording what your eyes see, and we're trying to record it as well as you possibly can. And of course, it is not easy to do this. And look at her ear there, just came from erasing out, bringing back the highlight that was lost. I had too much charcoal down, and I took a tiny little eraser and I carved out the highlights that I saw in my reference photo, and whoof, this ear just appeared on the paper. So of course, this is not easy. It's not easy. But I think if you can like retrain your brain and have a mindset of this is not an advanced face that I'm drawing, but it is a really great exercise in interpreting your photograph and really truly drawing what you see. So using a combination of different erasers, you can really fine tune your details. My students over the Fun Fab Drawing Club get the advantage of having this as a real time. It's a 2-hour lesson and it's totally unedited and raw footage, which means it's just me talking the entire time through every single line stroke and eraser cutout and addition with the gel pen. Registration for the Fun Fab Drawing Club is only open 2 times a year, and it actually closes today, which is Halloween 2019, and it won't reopen until Easter. So if you want to hop in and take some really in-depth drawing lessons, and I'm talking this is for all ages. So if you can't draw a straight line and you're only drawing stick figures, I got you. The classes that are in the Fun Fab Drawing Club start at the very, very baby beginning, and then you can progress slowly over at your leisure and take an increasingly number of difficult drawing classes, and then I add new advanced drawing classes every single month. So if you're interested in really learning more and fine-tuning your drawing skills, today's the last day you can sign up. Go to awesomeartschool.com and you can do it there. Other than that, of course, every Friday on YouTube, I will have another free tutorial. I'm going to have a mixed media one coming up next week, so you can stay tuned for that. And if you want to learn more of my favorite drawing tips, you can click the playlist to watch more.